Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit, thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day.
It's a new day, new day, a new day. And I can shape it my way, my way, my way. It's gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today. Let me play the soft play, soft play, soft play. And I can shape it my way, my way, my way. Gonna be good, gonna be good, gonna be good. 'Cause everything is new today.
Yay! Mary Lynn. Her presence is everywhere. We are all one. Welcome and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the Heart of Las Cruces. My name is Jennifer Kleitz and I'm your practitioner on duty. I welcome you all here today. I am so grateful to be here and I'm glad you are here and we are all one. A few announcements. The Meditation Mavericks is continuing on Zoom on Wednesdays at 6 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time. Call the office or notify Teresa Valenzuela if you are interested in participating and joining that wonderful, wonderful group. There is also a practitioner-led meditation on Sunday mornings. The time has changed. It starts at 10:15 a.m. right here in the sanctuary before service. The practitioner on duty leads the meditation. It's a wonderful experience. There will be a school supply drive to benefit My Friend's Place from August 2nd until August the 12th. They're looking for school supplies, pens, paper, pencils, crayons, construction paper, glue, those kind of things. There's a list, there's a flyer in the back table with a list of items they're looking for. You can drop them off between 9:30 and 1:30 here at the center between August 2nd and August 12th. If you have any questions, you can contact Teresa Valenzuela. Center for Spiritual Living and Inspirational Ministries and Unity are all joining in this effort to help out My Friend's Place. And you can check on the back table for other events that are coming up in August. The calendar's out there, and other happenings coming up soon in the next few months. We believe in the power of prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer. The prayer team, made up of practitioners and ministers from the 4 local New Thought communities, is here to serve and will pray with you in regard to any request. If you want prayer support for any issue, there are prayer request cards in the back pocket of each chair. And you can put your prayer requests in the God can, which is on the table as you leave the sanctuary. Always available are prayer requests online and our website. And finally, you can simply ask one of your practitioners Now, I would like to know how many of you have reached out to a practitioner with a phone call or an email or a text in the last 2 months for any issues. Okay? Well, I'm glad everything is going very well for you. But please know, your practitioners are there for you 24/7. The numbers are available on the website, and you can reach out, call them, connect with one. Reach out and have them available to you always. If your pet is not feeling well, if you've lost a pet, if you've gotten a new pet, and you can see the theme here, I am building a pet ministry as part of my practitioner service. All right? But if your car's on the fritz, if you're going to go have an interview with someone, if you're going to go travel someone, reach out to a practitioner and ask them for prayerful support. And consider that they have worked and taken classes and courses and 2 years of prac study to become a practitioner. So consider making a donation or a tithe, or if they ask for a fee, it is deserved. It is because they have put a lot of time into their education to help you with these things. And you can recognize and know when you have had a treatment, the change that is made in your life. These things are so powerful. And I want everyone to know and to use those services. That's part of what I would like to do also in the future. And I'm going a little off script here. Sorry, Bonnie. Is I intend to have what is a practitioner education workshop. I want people to know the services that are available to them. It's like having health insurance. You know, before you go on a long trip, reach out to your practitioner and say, please do a treatment for me, and say that, my trip is wonderful and terrific and easy and safe and enjoyable, and everyone that I interact with is going to have a wonderful time. And it really is a wonderful experience. Well, there you go. There you go. See? She wants to go somewhere. Now she wants to travel. Do you want to get a new pet? Not quite now. And let me introduce our other practitioner on service today, Liliane Pilot. She will be giving us our message. And we have practitioner Judy Hunt in service and Geneva Collins in service. So you are surrounded by practitioners, and you are all practitioners. You are. You are. And while the minister's away, the practitioners will play. So now it's time for song, silence, and prayer.
In this moment, I am hope. Hope is this moment. Hope, hope, hope. This moment is what I am. In this moment, I am light. Light is this moment. Light, light, light. This moment is what I am. In this moment, I am still. Still is this moment. Still, still, still. This moment is what I am.
with gratitude and understanding and love. I know and recognize the divine presence that is in, through, and around everyone in this room. This perfect intelligence that creates everything from itself. There is no beginning, there is no end. It is a field of pure potentiality, creating always and making new always. This perfect intelligence of love and truth, peace, compassion, understanding, wisdom. And I know that this presence is one with all, and I am one with this perfect presence. As I know that everyone here and in this community and in this state and the nation and the world and the universe and beyond, we are all one with this wholeness. And this perfect presence expressing through us today as we sing and we laugh and we listen and we speak. And all that God energy is right at the center of our being, igniting within us all that is to be ignited. The perfect thing for the perfect person, always. With great gratitude, I release and know that our experience of love and light surrounds us. It's huge, it's wonderful. And I release that into the law and know that as I do so, it is already done. And so it is. Now our reading this morning is from the Science of Mind, page 52 and 53. It has been proved that by thinking correctly and by a conscious mental use of the law of mind, we can cause it to do definite things for us, through us. By conscious thinking, we give conscious direction to it, and it consciously or unconsciously responds to our advance along the line of our conscious or subjective direction. It must and will respond to everyone because it is a law, and a law is no respecter of persons. We are surrounded by an intelligence, force, and substance from which all things come, the ultimate essence in the invisible and subjective world, and all visible and objective forms and conditions. It is around us in its original state, ready and willing to take form through the impulse of our creative belief. It works for us by flowing through us. This law we did not create. This law we cannot change. We can use it correctly only as we understand and use it according to its nature. Hence, it follows that if we believe that it will not work, it really works by appearing to not work. When we believe it cannot and will not, then according to the principle, it does not. But when it does not, it still does. Only it does according to our belief that it will not. This is our own punishment through the law of cause and effect. We do not enter in because of our doubts and fears. It is not a punishment imposed upon us by the Spirit of God, but an automatic result of failing constructively to use the law of God. God does not punish the mathematician who fails to obtain the right answer to his problem. The thought of the unsolved problem does punish him until he applies the right principle and thus secures the desired result. Thus, sin, punishment, righteousness, and salvation are logical reactions of the universe to the life of the individual. When we are dealing with real life, with thoughts, impulses, emotions, etc., we are dealing with causation, with original cause, and we should be most careful how we deal with such powers and forces. In dealing with this subtle power of mind and spirit, we are dealing with a fluent force. It is forever taking form and forever deserting the form which it has taken. Thus, a practitioner of the science should not be confused over any given form, but should know that any form which is not of the original harmony is subject to change. The original spirit is harmony, it is beauty and truth, and everything that goes with ultimate reality. The universe is not divided against itself. We should learn to control our thought process and bring them into line with reality. Thought should tend more and more toward an affirmative attitude of mind that is positive, stable, and above all else, toward a real unity with spirit that is already complete and perfect. And now, Sarah Benson.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah Benson. This is my husband, Doug, and we've been hanging out at the center for a little more than a year now, not always in person. I took a class with Reverend Bonnie last fall, the Building a Healing Consciousness, and we read a lot of Science of Mind and Ernest Holmes, and this paragraph really popped out to me. The great mystics taught that man should have no burdens, and would have none if he turned to the One. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. As Jesus knew that it would be impossible for all men to come to him as a personality, he must have meant that we should come to his understanding of life and reality. Someday we shall learn to lay our burdens on the altar of love, that they may be consumed by the fire of faith in the living Spirit. Man would have no burdens if he kept this high watch toward the One, if he always turned to God. And so for my final project for that class, I wrote a song based on this text, and it's called The Altar of Love. Bring every burden
now clean and beautifully alive. You arise with love, your only song, your one desire. Bring every burden, bring every fear, loss of treasure once held dear, every broken heart and tear, all your grief and doubt and shame, all your finger pointing blame, every proud and silly game. Lay them down on the altar of love. Lay them down. Turn to the one most holy Lord of love. The joy of your faith, all power far above, your every care consumed in healing fire. Now clean and beautifully alive, you arise with love, your only song, your one desire. Bring every burden, bring all your pain, shiny toys for which you strain, bright hopes dimmed by winter rain, empty praise you make your goal, hollow virtues you extol, all your poverty of soul. Lay them down on the altar of love. Lay them down. Turn to the one most holy Lord of love. The joy of your faith, all power far above, your every care consumed in healing fire. Now clean and beautifully alive, you arise with love, your only song, your one desire. Love, your only song, your one desire. Holy love.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Yes, indeed. Wow. Thank you for bringing your talents and your gifts to us. We are so grateful.
Might get her to do that more often.
Yes, yes. All right. Ooh, excuse me. Now, next is our speaker. And nobody gave me a bio, which is good. When I first met Liliane, I walked into the center a couple years ago and she was doing music. And then I walked in a couple of weeks and she was speaking. And then one Saturday, weekend, she was having art sale out there, and I was like, is there anything she doesn't do? She paints and she does poetry and she's got a beautiful place and she loves plants and she's got a wonderful message and she's got dogs. Cats?
Yes.
Cats. That's right, I met them. That's right. Rocks. Chickens.
Chickens.
Lover of life, that's what I'm getting at. Filled with creative beauty and love. And she is gifting us today with a wonderful, wonderful message. And I am so pleased to introduce Liliane Pilot.
Very sweet. Kudos for our new practitioner rocking it out at the podium today. You're perfect.
As are you, as we are.
Well, we're done then.
Okay. Well, come on, you came all this way.
All right.
You're going to play.
Yeah, I'm going to do stuff, although now my little ditty on the ukulele is going to feel a little sad after that performance, but I'll just do the best I can do. So today's talk is called Pulled by Vision, Seated in Presence. Helen Keller said, "The only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision." We must have some sort of vision, something calling us or pulling us forward, even if the picture isn't clear, even if all of the words aren't available to us. There's a something, isn't there? When we have a vision, it means we have a mental picture of something. And I checked the definition of vision just in case it had changed since I was in school, and I realized that it's all right there in the definition, to have a mental picture of something. But of what? About half the examples that I saw in the dictionary, there's my English roots coming out in the dictionary, about half the examples that I saw evolved around the visionary. He had the vision to run the company. She had a vision of, a better world for everybody. She had a vision of an angel spreading its wings and protecting the earth, that kind of thing. But the other half, fully half, were examples like, Johnny was late and my mind was filled with visions of him in a terrible accident. Really? Why would you want to visualize that? I saw a post recently on a social media platform. It was a young woman who's having her first child, and she was asking quite earnestly, why would people, total strangers, walk up to her and start telling her horror stories about childbirth? Oh, my aunt was in labor for 72 hours. They finally had to cut her in half to get the baby out. And I remember everybody has to touch your belly, like it's sticking out into the world, so now it's public property. We are either setting our course and heading towards our chosen star, or we're living by default. If you are not creating your vision, then you're simply allowing the mind to reenact and manifest its experiences and memories, liberally laced with whatever is going on around you and in the greater world. And it's easy to be fearful when we live this way. It's a default mechanism from the reptilian brain. Chase dinner, catch dinner, eat dinner, or chase dinner, uh-oh, dinner's chasing me, run from dinner, run fast. Ernest Holmes says, and this is also from the Science of Mind text, we should be able to look a discordant fact right in the face. He didn't say right, I said that. And deny its reality, since we know its seeming reality is borrowed from illusion, from chaos and old night. Our standard is one of perfection. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. We should be able to look at a wrong condition with the knowledge that we can change it. The realization that we have this ability must be gained by the application of our knowledge. The application of our knowledge. Actually taking action, not just living in default. Just for fun, turn to your neighbor and ask if they'd rather be buffeted by the winds of chance or visualize and create their lives. Go ahead, ask each other. What would you rather do? Can I take a quick poll on the response there? Can I pretty much assume that people would rather visualize and create their lives?
Yes.
Okay. Then pay attention. There will be a test after this part. There's this really cool TEDx talk, and psychologist and neuroscientist Richard Davidson says that our brains are constantly being shaped by the forces around us, but that we have very little awareness of what those forces are, and that the consequence of having our brain just shaped by default is a general lack of well-being. If we're not intentional about the life we wish to live, we will experience a life lived by default, and consequently, a general lack of well-being, a niggling feeling that we're missing something. We may be okay, but we're not thriving. So Davidson talked about this huge study that was conducted called A Wandering Mind is an Unhappy Mind. And there were thousands of participants in this study, and as they were out and about having their day, they're at work, they're doing whatever it is that they do, they were sent a text message which asked them 3 questions. 1, what are you doing right now? 2, where is your mind right now? And 3, at this very moment, how happy or unhappy are you? And they found Americans were not paying attention to what they were doing 47% of the time, and that when they were not focused, they felt significantly less happy. Just a few days ago, I went to a coffee shop, which I actually don't do all that often, and the young girl at the counter was completely absent. She was like totally phoning it in. And after several noticeable gaps while I was the only person waiting, I just was prompted to tell her about this TEDx talk. And she said, that's exactly what's going on with me. As it turned out, she had just started the job, and she didn't get all her training because the boss had to go somewhere, and she was worried that she was putting more stress on the other staff and really self-conscious about not knowing how to make all the different kinds of coffee and everything. She was so worried about her performance that she was impeding her own success, and she was not happy. And in another study, back to pony up here, Davidson, who was involved with this study, or referring to this study, goes on to discuss the pillars of a healthy mind and the mechanisms around neuronal change. But the most exciting part of all of it for me was how quickly the brain can change and adapt simply by changing our thought. And it's really fast. My mentor, Dr. Mills, used to say, it doesn't take time to think right. When I catch myself derailing, it's like, oh, whoosh, it doesn't take time to think right. There was another study after, just 2 weeks of practicing compassion for 30 minutes a day. It's a total of 7 hours, folks. MRIs showed a significant change in the part of the brain that is stimulated when we practice compassion. 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks. So there's another book called Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen, and she explains some of the science behind this. Inside your brain are, give or take, 86 billion nerve cells, which we call neurons, and in every single one of those 86 billion nerve cells is a microtubule whose job it is to build a mental scaffolding to support your thought. Constantly building, deconstructing, reforming, shifting, and that scaffolding actually gives structure to the entire nerve cell, and it alters your brain. And here's the really fun part. Guess how long it takes a microtubule to finish the scaffolding that gives structure to the cell and to your thought, from creation to completion. How long? Well, a little longer than that. It's 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, from the time you think a thought to that thought having physiologically, scientifically, and indisputably changed you. Now apply that to simply practicing powerful thought. Catch yourself when you derail. Oops. Get back on track. Keep on going, because those little microtubules are building. And it might seem like the progress is slow sometimes, but it's not. It's building. It's moving ahead. And all of a sudden, you'll reach a time in your life where you realize, oh, wow, that stuff just isn't happening anymore. Now I've gone off book. I got to get. So this is how we create a climate of thought. If we spin out on some idea like that girl in the coffee shop worrying about her job, those busy little microtubules build more and more and more scaffolding, and the thought becomes a belief, and that's what we'll see in the world around us. We literally can't see the forest for the trees. We can't see the world for the scaffolding. So what we can glean from this is that an idle mind is an unhappy mind. Darn it, my grandmother was right. Like a small child, it gets bored and it will amuse itself with whatever's handy. And it takes very little time to grow new neural pathways with mental habits that are maybe more likely to contribute to a life well lived. I can see how over the years, deeply ingrained thoughts that have been very persistent in me. But I can also see that in those areas where I've applied my attention and my intention and applied new thoughts, I have blossomed. And there are thoughts that just don't plague me anymore. There are thoughts that carry so little weight, it's like brushing off a fly. And there are new thoughts which give me a great deal of peace and joy. And I assure you there was a time in my life when I didn't think that that was possible. Well, part of me obviously did. We can practice presence, as Joel Goldsmith, it's a wonderful book called Practicing Presence. As Joel Goldsmith says, God must become an activity in our consciousness, or we will struggle through life in fear of other powers we have set up in our mind. And when we practice presence, we're more in tune with our vision. We can see better. One of my favorite books is I Am That. It's talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. I double dog dare you to say that 3 times in a row really quickly. And one of his students asked, "What do you see?" And he said, "I see what you too could see here and now, but for the wrong focus of your attention. You give no attention to yourself. Your mind is all with things and people and ideas, never with yourself. Bring yourself into focus. Become aware of your own existence. See how you function. Watch the motives and the results of your actions. Study the prison you built around yourself by inadvertence. By knowing what you are not, you come to know yourself." I am pulled by vision when I'm present. And at first blush, when I was thinking about this, I thought, well, pulled and present don't really sound like they'd get along, but they are in fact besties. That's a new one for me, besties. Hey, Jen, you want to be my bestie? Of course. I'm called by... Of course. Oh, you don't have to have just one bestie. That's it. Okay. So I'm called by a vision of peace within and peace without. That is a vision I'm called by. I'm called by a vision of love within and love without. And I'm called by a vision of my life filled with ease and grace and finding I am in service perfect just as I am. I continue to dismantle old scaffolding. I continue to seek the light and hopefully help someone else along the way. And when I'm present, I can feel into that vision. It comes alive. And then I'm pulled out of the morass of memory and idle ramblings in my head. The dichotomy of presence is that in experiencing yourself exactly where you are is the key to expanding into awareness of the fullness of your being. Pulled by vision. I could be pulled by vision if these were actually in the right place on my face. So I have a friend who's been really successful in life, and I know I've shared this before, but I just got to use it again. His recipe for success: know where you are, know where you are going, have a plan, do the plan, and expect the best. And after spending a little bit of time working with this idea, I added one more. Know who and whose you are. Know where you are, know where you're going, have a plan, do the plan, expect the best. That's the vision. And this is really science of mind in a nutshell, isn't it? Knowing you are divine, setting your mind on where you wish to go, seeing it clearly, knowing it is completely possible regardless of the appearance of external circumstances, and taking the action steps required to walk towards it. Give gratitude, Bob's your unk, and you're done. Sit with this idea. I really encourage you to contemplate it, to observe where you do or do not apply this in your life already and what the results are. Your mind is comprised of the physical, the neuronal pathways that can either be stuck in a rut or growing and expanding. Chemistry that can trigger a sense of doom or a complete sense of well-being. Be open to what is beyond that physical. Be open to the mind of God, the intangible, the mystical, the unexplainable. In the microcosm, the microtubule builds the scaffolding to support our thought. In the macrocosm, God is an infinite matrix of possibility and potentiality, constantly rearranging its molecules to enact our intention. And the degree to which we are able to laser focus that intention, fueled by belief and emotion, is directly proportionate to the degree of success that we will experience. There's another great book. This is read from a book day. It's a book called Living in Flow, The Science of Synchronicity and How Your Choices Shape Your World by Sky Nelson Isaacs. He's really brilliant. And he says the world is always responding to our entire emotional state, not just what we consciously intend to feel. If we have hidden emotions, they shape our world because synchronicities appear in alignment with what we feel, hidden or not. The best way to recognize hidden emotions is to look at the circumstances life brings and then check in honestly, know the self, with our inner knowing. Is there something useful that this experience is bringing us? Is there a way in which the situation spontaneously mirrors our feelings about an issue? Does this feeling seem to keep showing up in our life? And this may allow us to become clearer about the meaning of a circumstance, about what the meaning of a circumstance is for us and what our role might be in it. Know yourself. Spend time with yourself. I'll put this here. There's actually a huge chunk of that I wanted to read, but it's like too many words. So let me say this again. The degree to which we are able to laser focus our intention, fueled by belief plus our emotional state, is directly proportionate to the degree of success we will experience. And I'm going to put Jennifer on the spot here for a second. During prac training, if my memory serves me correctly, we had to go in, we had to dig deep. We had to find those little niggles and bring them on out into the light so we could talk about them, see them for what they were, treat for them, and move on. So you don't get to go through prac training without spending time with the self. Quite a lot of it, and not all of it pretty. So I'm pretty sure there's a mathematical formula to express this, but just in case there isn't, I made one up. Yay! Yay me! Okay. Can everybody see this? Yes. Mr. Camera, can you see this? So we got degree of intention times belief times emotion equals degree of success. Now, in this formula, thank you, my math just went sideways for a second. In this formula, 1 is the highest possible value. You have to have some sort of a baseline. So here 1 is the highest possible value. Divine perfection is absolute, and therefore it is equal to 1. There's no more, there's no less. In Power versus Force, David Hawkins walks us through this map of consciousness where he calibrated a broad spectrum of emotional states and beliefs. And so in using that as a tool, enlightenment peaks at about 1,000. So 1,000, enlightenment is what we're calling 1. Fear, by the way, comes in at about 1/10 of that, grinding away at 0.1. So if we were enlightened, we would be 100% able to focus our attention. We would have zero doubt. We would be solely motivated by love. And DOI, this little formula here, degree of intention times belief times emotion equals degree of success, becomes 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. Funny story. Literally 4 minutes before I was supposed to leave the house this morning, I got it into my pretty little head to Google 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. It turns out it's this huge holy debate. It's called the Trinity Fallacy by the people who don't agree with it. But here I speak of the metaphysical. It's not about the Trinity. I speak in the metaphysical. God is the one multiplied through our faith and belief. So just for fun, let's throw some less enlightened numbers in there, okay? There is a test, so take notes if you need to. Let's say you're... Do you need your calculator? No, I think you can do this. Okay. Jennifer was asking if we needed a calculator. I'm pretty sure we can do this. Let's say your degree of intention is at 100%. You are in there. You wanna, yes, okay. But with some of the sludge slooping around in your subconscious, belief is at about 75% because fear has crept in. And so we know fear is running at about 10%. So you now have 1 times 0.75 times 0.10. That's 0.075. That's less than 10% of your maximum potential. Now, don't get upset about this. Enlightenment is like kind of a, not everybody manifests that completely in form. However, it just is a visual kind of for me to go, this is perfection. And I know that this is me. But I also see that there are elements in the physical world that appear to interrupt that from time to time. And so I'm just going to continue to know that. And every time one of these interruptions shows up, eruptions is more like it, I'm just going to say, wait a minute. I'm going to look you in the face and know that you're not real because I know that this is real. And that's how we do. 10% of your maximum potential. Really? I thought you'd all do better on this test. We can do better. Be present. See ourselves clearly. Knock down that old scaffolding and clear away the rubble. Intention alone cannot carry us. We have to cultivate faith and buoyancy. Why aren't we all just flying? I think I'm going to fly to Honolulu. See you. Woo. Why can't I just wake up in the morning and suddenly be fluent in every language on earth? I always thought I'd wake up and just know how to speak French. I don't know why. I just really thought that that was going to happen for me. Why aren't we sitting with all of humanity in beatific love every moment? Because we're human. And unless we have a specific intention to become enlightened, an action plan, and the willingness to carry it out, we will continue to live by default and limit ourselves. Presence. To focus requires us to be present, and when we're present, we're engaged with our activity and with ourselves. As Sri Nisargadatta said, bring yourself into focus. Become aware of your own existence. I'm going to call on one more book here. Author Adam Grant has written a book called Think Again, The Power of Knowing What You Don't Know. And he talks about the courage it takes to leave the comfort of our convictions and enter the unknown, the world of questions without answers, to think like a scientist, to challenge beliefs and see what unfolds. And he says, if knowledge is power, then knowing what we don't know is wisdom. Make peace with not knowing. It frees up a lot of room for that presence thing. It frees up some space so we can hear that still small voice and open our arms and our hearts as we're pulled forward by the great unknown, like a kid learning to walk with its arms out, running towards its devoted parents. And this is essentially what I've tried to do in my life. I can see how the crazy small mind is involved, because over and over I have observed that when I practice presence, I feel gratitude, and when I'm grateful, my life magically seems to improve in every way. More harmony, more abundance, increased vitality. Intuition comes through more clearly. I feel aligned with spirit and flow, and I'm gently pulled forward by my vision. And then, since everything is going so well, I go right back to my old wiring. Self-will run riot. Busy mind bouncing from one idea to another, not in my body. And when it all becomes too much, I practice presence, and I experience gratitude, and I watch every aspect of my life improve. So I know what it feels like to be on that hamster wheel asking myself, is there no end to this? But I've learned that even if the wheels fall off, I haven't failed. I just reset the GPS and keep going. I'm called by a vision of my life filled with ease and grace, and finding I am perfect and in service just as I am. Pulled by the greater. I cannot put the greater into the smaller, so the smaller must always be pulled into the greater. And it takes practice. It takes presence, and it gets better all the time. And the better it gets, the more easily and beautifully and consistently I find I am pulled by vision. So I invite you to join me in prayer. Knowing fully and deeply there is one thing, one substance, one force field of realignment, one love, one powerful presence, living in and as and through each and every one of us. Drink that in. I am infused and enthused by this powerful presence, knowing that every single moment I am that perfection, regardless of external experience or appearance. And all I need do is remember, oh yes, there is only one. There have been many teachers who have come before, many teachers who will follow, and many moments in the world around us that are our teacher all the time. The universe is constantly giving us little messages and signals and signs and moments and feelings and electric moments with total strangers so that we can remember and say, oh yes, there is only one. I remember now. And there's one of those messages now. And so in this musical, abundant universe, knowing that every single second is unfolding completely as it should, and I move and live and have my being immersed in this knowledge and sense of the one, and in the knowledge that all I need to do is keep putting a foot forward, a foot forward, a foot forward, make a plan, do the plan, and all will unfold exactly as it should. And what great joy and peace there is in that knowledge. It's all okay. Everything is okay. So with great gratitude, I thank you all. I thank all who have participated in this moment right here and right now. And I release these words into the law, into the plasticine nature of the universe, because I know that my intent, fueled by my belief plus my emotion, will create the vision that I hold. And so it is.
But wait, there's more.
But wait. I don't mind telling you, I had a moment of horror when I pulled up that website. The Trinity Fallacy, 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. It's wrong. I just wrote my whole talk about that, and a song. So I actually just wrote this a few days ago because it seemed like a good idea at the time. So my fingers might not be completely under it, but the heart is willing. Is the thing itself, the one is perfection, the one is all and all I am and all I will become. 1 times 1 is 1 and 1 times me is 1 again. The mind of God is all there is, so why pretend? So here I am, a perfect me. There's nothing to be done but keep my mind in heaven and know that I'm the one. 1 times 1 is 1 and 1 times me is 1 again. The mind of God is all there is, so why pretend? Here's the tricky bridge. 1 times 1 is 1 and 1 times me and you is 1 and 1 times love is all there is, 'cause there's only the one. 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times me is 1 again. The mind of God is all there is. So why pretend? The one is the thing itself. The one is perfection. The one is all and all I am, and all I will become. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Liliane. That was wonderful. Wonderful talk. Wasn't she great? And I want to borrow her. This piece here, the belief and emotion, you know where you can get support with that? Talk with your practitioners. Talk with your ministers. That's right. That's how you get to 1, right?
Well, at least that's how you find the road.
Right. Center for Spiritual Living, the Heart of Las Cruces, is the tithing community. And this month, we are tithing to the Amador Center, previously known as St. Luke's Healthcare Clinic on the Community of Hope campus. And I'm sure you're all familiar with the wonderful things that the Community of Hope campus does. They're continuing to grow and serve more people, more children, provide more food and health care to those in need because of our contributions. The mission of the Amador Health Center is to provide access to vital integrated health and wellness services to all in the Las Cruces community, and to provide dignity, to promote dignity regardless of ability to pay. The vision is to provide care and bridge gaps between social services and people in need to restore hope and break the cycle of poverty. And that's who we are tithing to this month. So I invite you to, as you leave, descend through the sanctuary, to leave your contributions and tithes and donations in the plate at the back on the table. And if you will also just put a blessing in the plate as you leave, to bless the gifts of everyone here and keeping the cycle of giving and receiving completely flowing easily and open to all. I invite you to place your gifts between your hands and repeat after me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you, God, in me. And Mary Lynn's going to be here again.
We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for this time. And we know that God is in this room with us. And this time that has been shared together has been blessed with that presence expressing from all of us, coming together for an essence and an infusion of love and peace and harmony, wisdom. And I know that this moment, this time together today has been for the highest and best of all concerned. And we send our blessings to Reverend Bonnie as she enjoys her trip. And everyone who will watch this on the internet later, and it is blessed. All of our musicians and our speaker, our practitioners. It is a blessing, blessing, blessing for all. And I know that we leave here today and we go out and enjoy the rest of our time. We are in safe harmony, peace, and compassionate selves. I release my word into the law and know that as I do so, it is done right now, right here. And I am grateful. And we say together, and so it is. Now, if everybody will get together for our closing song, and I'll ask you to put your direction to this 360 camera over here of Randy's and say hi to Reverend Bonnie. Hi, Reverend Bonnie. And sing the closing song with her, to her, with her. Thank you.
Thank you.